Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope they're fantastic. I hope that everything is going great for you. Everything here is wonderful. I actually got projects done this weekend, and we're back to a sort of semi-normal setup here. The reason that the table was like over here all week last week is because I had all the holes in the ceiling and I patched them this weekend. Well, that's not true. I screwed the drywall. I reattached the drywall that I cut out. I still haven't patched it. I still have to put tape and mud and all that stuff. But I'll get to that eventually. I had other projects I needed to get done. And one of those is a planter, hanging planter. A friend asked me to make him, which I got to make out of some cedar. And I absolutely love working with cedar. It's like the perfect cross between hardwood and softwood. It's definitely soft, but it's not. It doesn't feel like as soft as pine. But the funny thing is, it's lighter than pine, or it feels lighter than pine. I don't know. But just the smell, running the stuff through the planer, smells amazing. And in case you didn't know, this is what raw, rough sawn and dried cedar looks like. And then this is the stuff that you're probably used to seeing, like the purplish pink. This is kind of what it turns into after a good bit of aging. So I got to finish this box up, put a little, I think he's gonna try to grow some onions or something in it. So I got this done, and I also made a couple of more of the little toilet trays. I need to put the feet on those and sand them and get them painted up. Twice now, making these, I screwed up. The way I've been making these is, the bottom is a 1x8. I think it's, no, this is 1x10. Because, is it? Now I'm second guessing myself. I think they're 1x8s. Yeah, because I want the whole thing to be 8 inches wide. So I use a 1x8 on the bottom. And then I rip the 1x8 into 3-inch strips for the sides, and then just attach. And so it ends up being a little over 8 inches wide, which is about the size of your toilet tank, right? These I made a little bit differently. The walls are taller, and they ended up being a little bit narrow because the last 2 times I've made these, I've screwed up the handles. The last time I made them, I just realized I needed a handle that's about this tall, and so I cut a bunch of those. Which means that the handles were the same width as the bottom, and they didn't cover the full width of the box. So that was goof up last time. This time, I was like, all right, what we're gonna do is I made the box, I put the sides on it, I set it in my table saw, I moved my fence over, so I was measuring the box itself to cut, right? And then I did the most boneheaded thing you could possibly do after going through all of that trouble. When you're ripping a board or when you're cross-cutting a board that way, when the board could catch, because it's short. I'm cutting a 1x8 short, and you don't want to trap it between the fence and the blade. It's just not a safe cut. So what I like to do is use a scrap of wood, put it beside my fence, push my piece up against it, lock my fence, and then I can remove that scrap of wood, or if it's short enough I can just leave it there. And then when I cut, I have an open area for the board to fall into. I can move it away from the blade safely. It's not going to bind and get caught sideways and come flying at me. So of course I did that this time, but the correct way to do it is to put my piece in place, hold it down firmly, unlock the fence, move it, drop in the board, slide the fence back over, and now I have the width plus the width of that little board. And I didn't do that. So all of these pieces ended up being the width of that board too short. So I stopped for the day. I decided I was done, as usual when I mess up like that. And I went upstairs and had a thought about it. And what I ended up having to do was rip about a 5/8 inch section out of the middle. I just cut this, ripped the piece out, and then biscuit and joined it back together. These are going to get painted and stained. You'll never notice, or even if you do, I mean, considering these are supposed to be like those rustic boxes that I've been making, even if you notice that it's screwed up, it will just add to the character of the box. It's not, these aren't necessarily designed to be like hefty, toteable things or anything like that. It's just a decoration. So I can get away with them being a little bit sloppy. But it's just one of those boneheaded moves. This boneheaded move, I went and bought S-hooks to join my my chain, and I only bought 5 when I needed 6, so I can't add the other chain. So I told my friend, like, it's ready, and it's ready as soon as I can get the last S-hook. So just, you know, stupid stuff. I did also I got to go to Lowe's on Saturday and pick up 8 sheets of 1-inch insulation to do the other room, and a sheet of 1/2-inch plywood to trim. Basically, you got to keep the drywall raised up about 2 inches off the floor, and then you got to put something there for nailing baseboard to. So I've got a piece of 1/2-inch sheathing, moisture resistant stuff to go along the bottom. So I've got to make that. So I got a lot done. I actually got a lot of projects done this weekend, and took care of the dog. He's doing okay. So that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to? Let me know in the comments. Let's have some conversations this week. Maybe we can come up with something to talk about for tomorrow. If you have any ideas, put it in the comments. If you have any questions about any of the things I talked about today, let me know. I'll get to you tomorrow. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is fecundity. It is a noun meaning a person, organization, resource, or activity that is exceptionally productive, creative, fertile, or fruitful. Blistering heat suddenly took the place of carboniferous moisture and fecundity. Simon Winchester, a British author and journalist. Fecundity. Fecundity. I was very fecundititious this weekend.